I didn't want my kids to know what struggle was. What happens when I get older? I can't retire. I have to make my own retirement. There's no such thing as losses. There's expensive lessons. You can be admired by all these different people. If the people in your house aren't excited to see you when you get home, you've failed.
Nobody's coming to save you. So you build and grind and you rise. From struggle to breakthrough. From pressure to legacy. These are raw, unfiltered stories of entrepreneurs, leaders, and dreamers who refuse to quit. Welcome to No Rescue, sponsored by Proto. Welcome back to another episode of the No Rescue podcast. I'm super juiced for this one because we got for us today a treat. Somebody who is an icon in the Polynesian space. He's an influencer, tattoo master. He's a Korean chicken kung fu karate master. But I'm excited to have a good friend of mine, Lala. Dude, bro, thanks for coming, dog. Appreciate you being here.
Hell of an intro. Man, I feel like I'm a UFC fighter.
Hey, I'm stoked to have this guy on here because, I was just telling Jake off camera that, like, my guy is a serial entrepreneur. He's a sleeper. But we're going to kind of dive into the details of this dude's mind right here because that's really where entrepreneurs make their money. It's a mindset game. And so, Lala, I'm super stoked to dive in the weeds, bro.
Oh, yeah.
We about to jump right in, dog.
Dude, we'll jump in. It was funny. I was just on the phone with my wife. And so, like, I was just telling her, she's like, who's this podcast with? I was like, oh, it's my boy Lame. And then she was like trying to tie a face with a name. And then I was like, no, I refer to you as my retirement plan. Because I'm like, once I get out of all my like other things, I'm like, I feel like I need to be a real grown up and just get into real estate with this guy. Because like all the stuff I'm doing is great now, but I'm like, oh man, I gotta do something grown up. Like I gotta be an adult, and she's like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "Yeah, that one." So that's how my wife associated like Lame, and I had to tell her like this, and she's like, "Oh yeah." But,
I love it, dude. Well, I'm here, bro. I'm here, dog.
Oh yeah,
love it. Well, dude, I love starting with these like from the very beginning. Like I wanna like we dive into. Really the creation of like your mindset, how it was developed, and inevitably you can't get there without the roots, right? Mm-hmm. And so I want to start there. Like, tell me about like, because you're a Laia boy, right? You're a Red Raider, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm in. I grew up in Houla, but same thing. But yeah, Red Raiders, baby.
So let's start there. Like, I want to start about like your childhood. Tell me about how you grew up. Tell me about your family. What was life like for Lala when he was in his childhood?
Man, when I was young, I had a good childhood. Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't want to say it was, because it wasn't bad. Like,
yeah.
And I grew up a lot more, I guess, humble beginnings. But like, when you're a kid, you don't know what money is.
Yeah.
You know, you don't really understand money. All you understand is fun.
Yeah.
Or like, you know what I mean? And when you're a kid, you can make anything fun.
100%.
So that was like something from my childhood that I kept that spark in me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you can make any situation fun.
Yeah.
Money or not,
yeah.
My kids will figure out a way to make something fun.
Yeah.
If I go take them to Home Depot, and that's where childhood dies.
Yeah.
If you go take a kid to Home Depot, and I'm like, this is all grown-up stuff in here, they'll find a way to have fun in there. Yeah. But like, that was like I grew up in like my upbringing. I guess in Hawaii. Hawaii is a good place to start for me because that was like around like high school time. My mom's siblings lived there. A few of them lived there. Two of her brothers, both of them owned separate construction companies, and they were very successful.
Yeah.
And my aunt, who's like, she had her PhD, and so like I was around people that were doing good and working. And the thing I loved about my two uncles, my mom's brothers, is that these were two people that were immigrants, came here with nothing.
Yeah.
And then one got educated. He got a law degree, but he just figured out he liked doing construction. He has a law degree.
Yeah.
And he just liked doing construction. And then, but these guys, they built these big, beautiful lives and out of nothing.
Yeah.
Like they came with nothing.
Yeah.
Didn't even speak English fully when they came here. And then they figured it out. And like, I learned a lot of stuff. And then like my mom's younger brother, I don't now that I'm on like big podcasts and like people like I talk to all those people, I can't say what he really was doing. Like for legal reasons and like but I can't say what he actually was doing. But this guy was in a very lucrative business, like very, very lucrative, high risk but very high reward. And like he had his sales, his distribution, he had all of it down pat where he was really successful.
Yeah.
And he was, the money that he was getting from it, he was like, I got to do something with it. Yeah. You can only buy so much Gucci stuff and like, you know what I mean? You can only buy so much things, but he got into construction too. And so, but it was funny because he came from more of like, I'm trying to figure out a way to describe it without sounding like derogatory or incriminating, but like he came from a world where it's wild. The industry he was in, cash businesses. It's all cash.
Yeah.
And money is fast. It goes quickly and things are always moving ahead. But he was the first dude that taught me about credit. The first person I'd ever seen that had $1 million in cash. And he was telling me like, this is nothing.
Oh,
he's like,
wow.
this doesn't, and like, it's very, oh man. When you see a lot of money as like a high school kid, you're like, Uncle, we're rich.
Yeah.
But he was like, he didn't even, he's like, that's a tool. But he was the first person to teach me about credit.
Yeah.
And how important credit was. And I was like, and I'm 16. And I'm watching these men that I have in my life, they're like hardworking. They've made good lives for themselves. And I see like how hard they work and all this stuff. But it was funny that the world that he came from, he was the first person that taught me about credit. And I'm like, you deal in cash. He's like, I can go to the bank right now and get a loan for any amount. Yeah. He's like, my credit. He's like, on paper, I'm white. I can get any amount of money right now. I go to the bank. He was the first person that gave me the flex of like, you ever drink soda at the bank? You ever drink coffee at the bank? He's like, when I go in there, I drink coffee. And I drink soda and all that. I'm like, what? Like he's the first. I drink soda in the Louis Vuitton store with him. He was just like, he's like, well, I'm different. And I'm like, you are different, Uncle. But yeah, he just put me on credit. Yeah. And then he was just like, he could show me. He's like, look at all this money. You see all this money? Can't do nothing with it. Yeah. He was buying like if it was like real estate or like big things, he was just like, no real like business cares if you have money like that. Yeah. If you have credit, you're dead in the water in this country. Yeah. He taught me that when I was 16 years old.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like, and it was wild because he came from all cash. And even my mom's other brother, the one that also did construction, his credit wasn't the same. He'd buy everything cash because that's how he thought that's how you did it. Yeah. So down to his house, to his cars, he had to just buy it cash. So he just have to work and work and work and then buy it all outright cash. He's the only dude I knew that had like an enormous house, all these cars and stuff, and then he couldn't get a loan. Like he couldn't get a loan from the bank. And I'm like, how do you have all this? But then my other uncle, the one that taught me about credit, he's the younger brother. But I was just like, it taught me crazy amounts of like just things that it makes sense now. But he was teaching to me this when I was 16. And I was like a kid who didn't know anything about anything.
Well, it sounds like they were like the first entrepreneurs that you ever came in touch with. Is that like pretty much?
All day. And like, man, they put this weird hunger in me because I'm like, I would watch like, I was like, you have all this nice stuff. You have like everything like, and then man, it was something that I really appreciated about them was that they became like these pillars in our community. If something happened in our community, they'd be the first ones over there. I've never bought pallets of meat or like just big a funeral goes on, something happened, a tragedy in our community, not even our family, just people we know. They're the first ones like, oh, let's go pick up pallets of meat and like all this stuff and drop it off to the funeral house. Yeah. They have no idea we're coming. These are the first guys I'd ever heard of. Like they made some good money on a job and he went and bought a van and gave it to a lady that was a single mom. Like it was crazy. Like I'd never, but you know, like we're both Tongan, but we're a communal people. Yeah. You can do really well on your own, but it doesn't mean much if like
if you don't bring your community with you.
And it's not, and these guys were like helping other dudes get jobs. They were using their resources to feed other people's, like not just giving people something, but they'd set guys up with contracts and jobs, and like they just became known. Like that, these are the guys that like, oh man, it was cool to go places and everybody respected them.
Yeah.
We were going to places like, man, we went to this sushi restaurant across from there's a BMW dealership in Honolulu. We went and serviced my uncle's car, and we walked across the street to this sushi spot. Every celebrity you can imagine, Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, Obama, they had pictures of these people in the restaurant. And then my uncle was telling me, he's like, but all the big dogs, they're behind the sushi bar, the pictures of them. And now that's where I saw Obama. That's where I saw Michael Jordan's picture, Michael Jackson's picture. My uncle's picture is back there. And I'm like, what did you do to get on this wall with these people? Yeah, but it was wild because like, they were the first people to teach me about money. And all of it wasn't money. It's like what money is kind of like an influence, what it can do. It gave us freedom. It gave us respect. It gave us like all these different things. But when I think of money, I'm like, oh, what can I buy with it? But they took it as like how, because I have money, people look to me for help, hope, whatever. Like it's like it became a whole different thing. Yeah. People knew they had money, but that's not what they were known for. They were known for how they used their money. And I'm like, oh man, it changed how I looked at money ever since I was young. Like, and like, you know, cause it just, it completely shifted my whole, and I never, and I got out of the whole, I never understood, like, I never let myself think of like the whole paycheck to paycheck, or like, it lost its value as like what other people see it as. I'm just like, it's a tool. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It changed, but my upbringing was so, oh man, it's almost like a seminar that you would have paid money to go to, how they taught me how to deal with money and how to take care of your family and what you do in your community. And like, cause we know a bunch of people, you probably know a bunch of people, they got all the money and everyone hates them. Like, they're just awful people. But it was crazy that usually if you were someone wealthy, or just, if you were just someone with money, somehow you become the enemy. Yeah. Oh, that's the guy, that's the reason for my problems. Guys like him. But my uncles, they were like, they weren't that. Yeah. They had money, but people loved them. People respected them. And then they, if money is supposed to make you act a certain way or behave a certain way, I've watched these guys interact with wealthy people who I'll probably never sit down with, but they could also interact with like a homeless man. They could interact with a school teacher. And they would never, no one, if you put them in a room with somebody, they never made themselves feel bigger or better than whoever they were with. And people loved them because of that. Yeah. There's people that they make the kind of money where if they're not in that crowd, they're not going to get along. 100%. But these people, I watched my uncles, they were chameleons, man, in and out of every kind of room, every tax bracket, and everyone loved them. And I was like, man, I want to be like that. I love that. Yeah, man. I want to be like that. Yeah. That's why I was like, man, you can be, like I said, he came from a cash business, but like you can be with these people, and then we're eating fancy dinners with these people, and these people own like big office buildings in Honolulu and Waikiki, and I'm just like, this is crazy. We can have a seat at the table. Oh yeah, and at any table, some people they can get seats at high-end tables, but they'll never be able to sit in these other low-end rooms, and I'm like, they could go to either one, and it was cool to see that. Man, and this is why I love going back to the roots, because it's these stories that I appreciate, because money and how to get more of it is an eternal principle, right? And there's some pillars in money that you only figure out through experience, whether you experience it yourself or you see someone do it. And I love hearing the different ways that people learn their lessons about money. And for you, it was at a very young age, and that's been all the difference. So the follow-up question I have for you then is like, when did you saw this at 16, when did you start applying some of those principles in your own business? And you're wondering, because obviously now you're doing it well, right? Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like one of those things that kind of just like innately happened. Yeah. Like nobody programmed me, nobody taught me, but I think some like people that I know or people that I'm close to, they realize like they assign all of this hurt and trauma to not having money. Yeah. And then they automatically assign when you have a good life or all these things, it's because you have money. But I'm just like, the way I think now is like, man, if money wasn't even on the table at all, if I was good at, who knows, if I was good at farming, farming is not money, but I would figure out how to farm so good that I could get everything else I needed.
Yeah.
But like, that's not money though, right?
Yeah.
Like I was like, if all I knew was how to farm, I would farm so well that I would figure out how to make farming provide other things for me. But that's like what money is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just like, I think I just don't look at money the same. Like, I don't look at money as like how a normal person would look at money.
Yeah.
I don't even, like I have all these different weird little strategies, but my whole thing is like, anyone can lose money and we can afford that. We can afford to lose money. Nobody can afford to lose time. That is like what we were talking about at the shop. I was like, I'll burn money if I have to, but I can't burn a day. I can't waste a day. I can't waste a year. I'm like, I gotta, if it costs a little bit more to do it, then whatever. But I just don't want to. You can sacrifice a little bit of money and save some time or whatever. Yeah, there's tons of different, it's like situation by situation. I don't know which one applies where, but yeah, my whole mindset and outlook on it changed. So it made me move different. Yeah. I don't even know how to answer.
I love it. No. Your answer, bro, you are dropping dimes. You're dropping gems, bro. And I love it because you're articulating it in your own way. Yeah. But really what you're repeating is like a lot of these principles, like I say, pillars of like success, frankly. Money being a tool, time being your most valuable asset, right? Oh, yeah. And like what I'm trying to dissect is like how you learn those, right? Because you talk about the money game. When did you figure out the time game, right? Like when did time become a valuable asset to you, right? Because you've talked about it a few times now in our conversation.
Yeah. Man, I read a book. It was like years ago, and I keep it around. Like I'll flip through these pages, and the way this book is written is like very sophisticated. Like it's Seneca, that's the name of the author, but it's called The Shortness of Life, I believe. But like in the first 2 pages, it's almost like talking
like
to
dictionary?
You. No, like it's man. I don't want to like make too many references like culturally because I want everybody to understand it, but it's kind of like when your parents sit you down and they kind of tell you what you're doing wrong. That's how this book started, and it's like life is not short. It's that you're wasting so much of it. Life is long. Like life is, you know what I mean? And like that's what it's telling you in like the first page is like life is not short. It's that we make it short.
100%.
It's not like there's so much time for all your accomplishments and achievements, but it's just that we dwindle it all away.
Yeah.
And people become so stingy with their money, and then they're frugal, or like they're stingy with their money and they give really freely of their time. But it really should be the reverse, where you should be stingy with your time and maybe not care so much about your money. Money is a renewable resource.
Yeah.
Time is not. You will use all of your health. This is like from the book. You'll use all of your health or your life to accumulate your wealth. And then when you're at the end of your life, you'll spend it all.
Yeah.
Just to stay alive a little bit longer. You'll spend everything you worked your whole life for just to get, and all you're trying to do is buy more time.
Yeah.
You're trying to buy time. You'll use your whole life to accumulate money. You'll throw it all away at the end when you're trying to get another day with your family, another day just to have the time. So time is a valuable resource. So yeah, that was just from a book that I it was one of those times when I was just trying to act like a grown-up. I was in like Barnes & Noble or something, and I was like, and I just came across it. No, and it's crazy because it's like a little paperback book. Yeah. It's not like a big, dude. It's like Caesar Augustus wrote this book. If you read it, it's like, oh, this is like some philosopher way smarter than me. Like it took me forever to read it because it was just like, it was like, I don't know. It was from like a, kind of like a zesty Bible. Like it was like real eloquent, Bible. Like, oh man. But yeah, I read that like probably early 20s I read that. Yeah. And then that's why I just like dug in, because now I'm in the years of I'm in the year of the dog, you know. I'm in the years of the dog where I'm young, I have energy, I'm still strong. I'll thug out whatever. Yeah. I'll work hard now. I don't care. Yeah. You know, hard decisions now, easy life later. 100%. I'll do that now because my body is built to, I can take it right now. Once I'm older, I won't be able to. So now I'm like, I probably have a higher threshold of risk when it comes to like entrepreneurial endeavors, because I'm just like,
those served you well.
Run the gauntlet, baby. You know, like live dangerous, dude. Everybody, when we get into stuff and everybody's like, that's a lot of money. You want to put that up? And I'm like, what, are you going to take it to heaven?
That's a
I was like, live dangerous,
baby. I love it.
I was like, hey, man, safes get cracked. Live dangerous, bro. Yeah, but all of it is just because, like, man, I'm young. I could lose it all today, and I'm young enough and strong enough I could get it back.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think, like, and my kids, I think that's, like, something I kind of instilled in my kids is that one thing I learned really early when I was growing up. So the whole reason I moved to Hawaii is because I was I don't want to say I was a bad kid, but I was getting in trouble and stuff. So my mom sent me to Hawaii to go live with my aunt. And so that's how I was around her siblings, like my uncles and everything. Because when I was living with my mom, single mother, she couldn't discipline me. She just couldn't keep up. Like, she was just like, you're not doing anything you need to. But something I learned as a young kid was that my mom, without knowing, she was putting stresses on me as a kid I shouldn't have had. Like, when you don't have enough money to pay bills, when your electricity goes off, when your water goes off, when you can't afford things, I feel like as a kid, I don't want my kid to know that.
Yeah.
If I'm stressing about it, I don't want my kids. And then I was so young, like it took a toll on me because I'm like, oh man, things are not good.
Yeah.
And like my mom would say things or do things around me, and it would make me be like, man,
are we okay?
Yeah. You know what I mean? And so like my kids, that's something like I never
try and protect them from.
Well, even now, my kids, they have no idea what money is. They just know that like if they want something, they gotta work.
Yeah.
That's all they know. But like they'll never I've never said to my kids that we can't afford something or we don't I'll never do that to my kids because my kids, their mindset needs to change right now.
Yeah.
So I learned it and I figured it out in my later teenage years and into my 20s, but my kids are never going to grow up thinking that anything you want, you can afford it. You just have to figure out how to do it. Yeah. There's no such thing as I'm broke or I can't afford it, we can't do it. No, you can do anything. Yeah. Like, you can do anything as long as you work for it or figure out a way to do it. But there's no such thing as I can't afford it. There's no limits. Oh yeah. I don't put none of that on my kids. Like if I tell them they can't have something, it's not because we can't afford it. It's because I just don't want them to have it or they don't need to have it or something. And my kids know that because I'm reckless as an adult with my kids.
I mean, I did get the most explosive fireworks from you like that.
Oh, man.
My whole neighborhood was like, where'd you get these? I'm like, there's this guy.
They're the good that's what, I have these weird, I feel like I don't ever want to say I do well. I'm doing well. Because even when my other businesses are booming and things are doing great, I still go to my job, I guess it's my day job, but only because I love it. But there's times when things are good, and I just was I try to humble myself again. I'm just man, I remember the first real job I got, and then when you do your taxes, they send you and they say, hey, you made this much money in a year. This was one of my flexes out of poverty. I was like, the amount of money I made at my first job, it wasn't a crazy job. It was just a job that you could get as a 20-year-old. But my first job, the amount of money I made in a year, I spent that on fireworks one time. And I was like, oh, I'm out of poverty, daddy. I don't know. I should probably preface this whole podcast as I'm not a real grown up. I'm so irresponsible,
bro. You're spitting bars and I love that you're doing it in your own way. That's the thing.
Yeah, I got some seasoning in my talk. But I feel like I've accomplished some cool things, but I've never outgrown the fact that when I go fill up gas in my truck, I don't even look.
Yeah.
And when I realized that I stopped looking at how much gas cost me, and I was I made it out of poverty. You know what I mean? I'm okay. My life is good, but I still look at those little things, and I'm just I used to get sent to the store or go to the gas station for my mom, and she gave me $20, and I got to tick, 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 to get it right at $20, and now fill that bitch up till it hiccup, man. Can I swear? Sorry. I don't know if I can
say whatever you want.
No,
bro.
Yeah, but I was it was just one of those weird little mile markers to keep me humble. It's man, I don't even look or just things like that. I'm just oh man, my life is good.
Yeah.
I try to keep myself humble with things like that, but.
So let me because I want to rewind a little bit because I really want to dive in because you're speaking so many quality concepts about business and life and how they connect. Like, what was the first like business you started? Like, because you now are a like authentic serial entrepreneur, like legitimately. Like, you got your hands in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, everybody knows you because of your tattoos. Like, but like where did entrepreneurship actually start for you? Not just learning from others, but for Lala.
I think for me personally, because I do tattoos, I think that was the first thing where tattooing is a skill and you have to get good at it.
Yeah.
But as far as like a return on your investment, I was like, needles cost this much, ink costs this much. All the things to create a tattoo don't cost a lot of money. And then that's when I realized that, oh, there's value in me. Like, not on, I just realized, so that's when I started I started looking at things as like,
what value can you create?
Yeah, like what can you pull out of like, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, I'm taking these needles and ink and all this stuff that's a couple dollars, and then I do a tattoo that's worth this much money. And then I realized when I invested in myself with like my skills or whatever, I'm like, oh, now the value's bigger.
Yeah.
And then so that's what started the whole like, I guess like my entrepreneurial endeavor, because I was like, oh, if you take something that costs whatever amount of money, you sprinkle some value in there, you can get a way bigger return out of it.
Yeah.
But like, I think tattooing was probably the first thing, but it took a long time for me to realize it because I was just so gung-ho off of like tattooing, because tattooing was the first thing I'd ever gotten into that I started, and I sucked. Like I was horrible. Like,
and you were learning from the MJ of the sport, bro.
Dude, I was learning
Fred
from Fred
Frost, shout out.
Man. Dude, I was learning from the Samoan Da Vinci of our generation, the only one that God ever made, Fred Frost. And I was really talented in sports and everything, and like I was just natural at like, I could just pick up something and I'd figure it out and I'd be good at it. Tattooing was the first thing, and I was like, oh, I'm awful at this. I'm terrible at this. And so it just like made me hone in on like the skill and like developing myself. And then, but then like, I guess when it comes to like being an entrepreneur, you kind of do the same thing where you you figure out the bits and pieces that you need that might cost you a little bit of money, and then you figure out how to make it valuable to somebody else, and then there you go.
Yeah.
That's how it starts. But I think tattooing was probably the first thing. And then there's a dude I know, he's a big entrepreneur, and his life just shifted. Something crazy happened to him. But he created a restaurant called Turkey Leg Hut.
Okay.
They were enormous. They're huge. And then he built all these other companies. He became like, he just touched all kind of money, like crazy. And his little slogan that like people that I know that have been around him, he's like, man, I got all this off the leg. Yeah. His place called Turkey Leg Hut. They're gone now, but like he created this whole empire. He's like, man, I got it all off the leg. Like his turkey legs, like his restaurant. He's like, man, I built all of this from the thing I was doing already. Yeah. So I've kind of like, if you look up that guy, you're not going to want to see how his story ends. But he built an empire off of a thing that he was passionate about. Yeah. So like, I was like, that's like my thing now. I was like, man, I took my passion project and made it my career. Now everything I do is I got it off the needle, man. I got it off from tattooing, whether it was the relationships or like the people I met through it, or even just whatever. I got it all off of tattooing. Like I just realized that tattooing is good, but there's no 401k, there's no retirement, there's no paid time off in tattooing. And so I'm like, well, what happens when I get older? I can't retire off of tattooing. There's no, so I'm like, oh, I have to make my own retirement. So that's when I started taking it serious and like, oh, tattooing is good money, but like if I just let that be all it ever was, then it's like, I don't think I was utilizing my gifts how I was supposed to. Like, I think I'm supposed to take this and build it into something bigger. So tattooing is like my passion. I love it. I hope it kills me. Like, and when I say that, I mean, I will do it until I die. Like, but it's definitely the workhorse behind a lot of my other things. Cause I'm like, I just took my one skill, my passion that I loved, and it's brought me relationships. It's brought me people and different things. And man, I sit down with I tattoo guys like you who I'm sitting there catching all these gems. You have no idea you're dropping. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to use that. You know what I mean? But I got people in my chair like that all the time. And these are all people that are, a lot of times they're the best at whatever they're doing. Yeah. And then they come to me and get tattooed. And then I'm over there just catching all the gems. And so I'm like, oh man, I'm pretty much having a Joe Rogan podcast every day of the week. Because I'm tattooing these guys. I'm like, so how'd you do it? Yeah. What'd you do? Tell me, you know what I mean?
And they're in there for, I was there for 40 hours in the chair.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, and then I don't know. I just got it all off of tattooing, and it's cool too, because not only in business, but then I really admire people that can do things, be successful, and then they're still a somebody in their house. Yeah. You can be cool to the people you work with. You can be admired by all these different people. If the people in your house aren't excited to see you when you get home, you've failed. Yeah. So, it's cool to see that, you out here booming and you, the time with your family. I respect so many people for the fact that, I'm out here dogging it, just hustling, doing whatever I got to do. I go home and be a dad, and I'm a better dad than I am, a dog. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I have so much respect for that. So that's why I always I really like tattooing guys like you. And then I'm hearing you tell me about all these things, and then I see you FaceTiming your kids, showing me your Disneyland pictures, and I'm like, Elk Ridge Management got a good boss, but you might be a better dad than you are a boss over there. And that's what I think it should be. Yeah. So it's cool to be successful in life, but man, the people in your house, if they're not excited to see you every day, you might have failed. Yeah. So it's cool to have little humans running up to you excited to see you every day.
And you can't buy that. No. You can't buy those feelings.
You can, but man, they come with problems. Oh man, they got houses full of people that'll be excited when you get there, but man, you gotta go consult your physician or something after. But
so you've obviously talked a lot about, I feel like we're seeing a lot of the life lessons that you've experienced through all of the wins, right? But also some of the losses. And, with this podcast being the No Rescue, one of the things we love to highlight is really those moments as an entrepreneur, you realize nobody's coming to save you.
Oh man. Right. It's so fitting that we're doing this now, because last year, oh man, so 2024, oh man, as far as entrepreneurial endeavors, ate a bag of dicks. Sorry, you might have to edit that out. You know what I mean? I took L's.
Hey, let's talk about it.
I took L's, man. And then but the mindset I got, I'm just I'll get it back. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm always just man, if you can't do it again, you really didn't do it the first time. You know what I mean? I'm but now I approach things with such confidence, because I'm I did it from nothing. Yeah. But now I know how to do stuff, so I'm I 100%. Never even, when I say I take losses, I hate getting into numbers and all this stuff, but I took losses. I took the kind of losses last year, most people would have developed a drug problem by now. They'd be, you know what I mean? But the mindset I got, I was just I'll get it back.
Hey, it was good for taxes.
Yeah. That's man, when you take a loss on paper, it's not bad, but it's it wasn't even.
So talk to me through some of those lessons though. Let's talk concept, right? You're what's going through your mind? What happened? How are you overcoming? What are you telling yourself?
One of the things with me, especially if I'm it's kind of weird to call myself an entrepreneur, because I'm
and you're hella
so
good at
regular, bro. I'm a dude, bro. I'm such a bro. It's so funny to think that.
You think you saying that about yourself is, I think, one of your superpowers, bro.
No, it's so funny because it's crazy that I have I've done things and people know me for whatever, and then I go to in my family, I'm the kid that goes to the store. My family, go to the store and get me this. I'm not even recognized as a real human in my house. I'm the one who goes and picks up family from the airport. I'm not. So many people respect me, but in my family, nobody cares. No one cares. But
families at home.
Oh yeah. No, but one of the lessons I learned is man, nobody's going to handle and you can translate this to whatever, but I mean, like, nobody's going to handle your money like you do.
Yeah.
If you have a business or a company, nobody's going to love it and care for it like you do.
Yeah.
And then for me, the whole time versus money thing, I'm like, I got to let somebody else do it because I don't want to lose time. I was going through things with my ex-wife and my kids and all these things, and I'm like, I can't lose no more time.
Yeah.
Like, I lost so much time building these things, and I'm like, I don't want to lose no more time. So I'm like, hey, take this money and make it work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like, so basically I gave other people stewardship over my money, and then it just didn't, people don't respect your money like it's theirs. They, it just, and so things can happen, and then I have no control over it. And then like, I kind of walked away from it being like, well, I became a better dad in that time.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it costs for me to be a better dad or a better husband now. And I'm like, I had to like take those losses and kind of take like, you would probably understand, like, even though it's a loss, I don't think nobody even knew I took losses.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm just like, that's how
you got to go out there and you got to operate.
Like, and like, I don't even like, I'm not operating out of like a deficit. Like, my mind is not operating like, oh, I got to make this, this got to work, because if not, but I didn't even, because like, truth be told, I'm fine. But like, I was just like, oh, I already know I have the tools to do it again. It don't matter. And so like, and then even with like, I was talking to you about like Trappuccino, my cannabis company, I got into legal problems that made it so I can't be associated with cannabis. And so I was like, that's like a business. Like, for me, that is a business. And I'm like, so I couldn't like for a while, it might still be, but like, I can't have any pictures of me in like grow facilities or nothing, because I'm like, I might get in trouble. But now that's all ironed out. But like just different things. I was like, man, I took losses in here and here and here. And I don't know. It was, I feel like it should have broke somebody, but man, I'm in my movie script I'm writing for my life right now. Your boy's got a crazy comeback, and it's like the ball has been rolling already. But it was so funny because even though I took like losses in those things, I started looking at other stuff. It kind of forced me to get out of like, I was like, I got to get out of it and do something. And so it made me explore other options.
Yeah.
Usually when somebody takes a loss, they tuck their tail and run. I'm like, nah, I'll lean in a little harder. I think like we were talking about this at the shop. Is like, I feel like I'm a smart guy. I'd say I'm a pretty sharp dude, but then I'm like, but I'm just dumb enough to like risk,
to roll the dice, baby.
Risk, live dangerous, man. I'm just like,
and there's power in that, man. There's power in having a mindset like that, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it like it's almost like I'm assigning when I need to have short-term memory loss.
Yeah.
Because like, man, if you take a bad loss in business or something, it could give you PTSD, and you're like, I never want to do this 100%. Again. I'm going back to 9 to 5 and all that.
And it does for a lot of people.
Yeah,
right?
and I'm just like, no. I was like, my family deserves better than that.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. So I was just like, and man, and even now when I look back on it, I'm like, oh, it was never that bad. Like, it's not that bad. Like, it's nothing too crazy. But yeah, that was like a lesson that I got to find a balance of like, obviously like the time, money balance thing, but like even just like, man, I almost want to believe that anyone I give money to, they'll be good. But then it's like, they don't treat it like you did because they didn't have to earn it. They got it from me as a gift and like figure it out. But then I was like, oh, I need to balance it out. So I'm like a part of it, but not like, I don't want to lose no time. That was like my big thing. It was like, I'll spend money to save me some time. But yeah, that was like a big lesson that I don't know. I feel like it would have broke a lot of people, but I was just like, nah, lean in harder.
Yeah. Well, and like a question that comes to my mind as you're talking through this, right? Because you talk about your losses last year, but you actually became a better father. Was there a time where it was the opposite, where you were sacrificing maybe your role as a father, or maybe as a husband, in exchange for business? And did you learn from that? Like,
yeah. Well, I feel like I learned it early because when I was younger and I just started my family, and then like for some reason I was so scared of like I didn't want my kids to know what struggle was. I didn't want I didn't want at the time, my wife, I didn't want them to worry about anything when it came to like bills or money or anything. And so for that to happen, I was like, I got to work. I got to do all these things. And then I got us to that place where, oh, we can like live good. But then I kind of realized that like, oh man, there's kind of like irreparable damage that you do to your life of like, I was like, man, I think my kids, they would have preferred their dad to be home and struggle.
Yeah.
They would have preferred, you know what I mean? My kids, I think looking back now, they're like, oh, we should have just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My kids is thugs, man. They would have thugged it out with no electricity with me. But like, I feel like now, like when they get older, they'll be like, oh, Dad, we could have been better with way less. We could have lost it all. We just would have rather have you.
Yeah.
My kids, like they just wanted me there. But like in my head, I was like, I'm a man, I'm a provider, I gotta go out and get it. And so I'd give all my time and energy to like providing. And then when I would get home, I'd be so beat from that, I wouldn't even get to spend real time with my family.
Yeah.
And then over time, that puts a strain on things and it just creates damage. And then that's what made me last year when everything was happening. I was like, I've proved myself as being successful in whatever I want to do. Anything I decide to put my finger on, I'm gonna be good at it because I just want
You're relentless.
to. I'll just do it.
Yeah.
And then so I've proved I know how to do that. But then I was like, man, I need to prove to myself that I can be a good dad, a good husband, and all that stuff. So it was a good. It was kind of like a recalibration.
Yeah.
I recalibrated everything. And so I'm like, now I know how to balance this much time for this much time for that. And like, yeah, that's definitely a big lesson that I took away. But man, that was a hardcore, like that was like my whole recalibration last year was like, I'm good at tattooing. I'm good at all these other things. I want to be good at being a dad and being a husband and all those things. So man, last year, it might have been an L with like business and everything, but man, I created more memories than any kind of money I would have made last year.
Yeah.
I promise you that. I've done the most ridiculous, awesome things with my family and my kids and the kind of things that like I created core memories that are going to shape how my kids are born or how they're raised for the rest of their life off of the things I did. And I'm just like, yeah, I think maybe that's what balanced out the loss. It wasn't really a loss to me because now I got something I really wanted. So I was like, all right, it was cool. But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it, brother. Bro, you
is that boring to like business people?
No,
like, what?
Not
your
at
family?
all.
That's
Not
go out
at
there and
all,
get the
bro.
checks, man.
Well, and all these things, they all correlate, right? And those are some like, you know, some of the follow-up questions I have is like, you know, throughout all this, like what have you learned like in terms of being a father and being a businessman? How do they correlate, right? Because it seems like are they always opposites at that time? Or do you feel like this year is the year where you're kind of going to find alignment in them? Because it sounds like you talked about when your business was booming, your family life wasn't as good, right?
Yeah.
And last year was the opposite, right? Business wasn't doing as good, but you're booming so like, is there a middle ground? Like what have you learned in that parallel?
The middle ground, I've definitely, for myself, I've figured out the balance, but like it's become one of those things where like if I'm going into business with somebody, I don't know if it could be a good thing or a bad thing, but like if I look at somebody and I'm like, man, if you're like a dirtbag husband and like not a good dad, I'm like, why would I ever want to work with you?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, it's obviously like...
You gotta pass the vibe check, right?
Dude, gotta pass the vibe check, bro. If you're not vibing, bro, if you're not a good hang, you know, if you're not a good bro, I don't know. But like, that's like one of the things was like how you are to your wife, how you are to your children, that speaks volumes to me when it's time to go into business. You know what I mean? Because like, because definitely there's people out there, they know how to make money and then they don't really care about their relationship with their wife or maybe their relationship with their kids. And I'm just like, well, I can't step on my wife or my kids to get what I want. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, is that guy going to step on me to get what he needs? You know? So I don't know. It's just like one of those things, but I just feel like that's like that's the vibe test, you know? That's like the thing I look into. Like, if
it's funny you say that because I spoke at an event in Hawaii. I met this dog there. Just this, his name's Bill Allen. Shout out Bill for watching this. But dude's a billionaire, right? With a B, right? He invited my family over to really hang out with him for the weekend. His beautiful cabin that he had, and I kept trying to ask him questions about like instigating business as to like why I was there. And finally, in the middle of it, he was just like, Lama, he was like, you know, I like money will come. I just wanted to see how you treat your wife and your kids.
Dude.
Right? And this is a billionaire with a B. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not a billionaire. Just let me clarify
that. It's a billionaire mindset, bro.
Oh,
you know?
Man.
It reaffirmed to me, you know, that like it matters. Those things matter.
It matters.
Right?
This podcast is sponsored by Prodo. With Prodo, taste comes first, but trust follows. It's clean, it's grass-fed, and it's made with standards you can feel. This is protein for people who expect more. Bougie, not basic.
There's this, I was watching, because this is actually a principle that a lot of businessmen that I know of, but there's like the rapper David Banner.
Yeah.
He was on because he's an entrepreneur now, but he said it on a podcast. It was crazy because other people was like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. But I know guys who already live by that, but he was just like, I don't do business with anyone that cheats on their wife.
Yeah.
Like he's like, if you cheat on your wife, I don't do business with you.
Yep.
He's like, that's your one most solid foundation. That's your one, you know what I mean? Yep. If you'll do her dirty, I'm like, I'll never do business with you. I don't want to make no kind of money with you. I don't want a relationship with you.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like you'll step on the one person that's supposed to be your rock, your everything. And he's like, if you cheat on your wife, I don't do no business with you. And I'm like, oh man. But yeah, I took that a step further, and I'm like, man, if you're not a good dad, then like, I don't think you wouldn't be good to your employees either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know. There's weird little things I live by, and I'm just like, that's like one of those things where like even my cousin, who's my partner with Trappuccino, he was like working out things with his family, and he kind of like, I mean, he didn't take a year off, but in that same amount of time, I was just like, bro, like, we're not going to make the same kind of money, even if I got to float you for a while. He's like, what you're doing matters. Like he felt it too. And he was like, you know what I mean? I'm like, if our company credit card has some like, you know, transactions at the movies or groceries or whatever, I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like you do whatever you want, but he's like, whatever you got to do to fix your family, make things good. That's what it is. And I'll never like knock you for it. Yeah. And like, it was cool. Same thing. He went and did some rebuilding and mending relationships and stuff. And so that's why I was like, I'm big on that. Yeah. I'm like, whatever it takes. Like once home is good, you'll work harder at work. 100%. You know what I mean? So 100%. I'm like,
100%. Lala, bro, you have dropped some gems, bro. Like genuinely, man. And this is exactly why I wanted to have you on this podcast, because I think you're an icon, and you're really a mentor in the space of entrepreneurship when it comes to our people, whether you see yourself as it or not. like you really are. It's like, and I love that you can explain, like, honestly, these like eternal principles of business and life and money in like your own way, and they make sense and they're powerful, and I appreciate your time. Last question I want to leave with you before we wrap up, right? And this is the No Rescue podcast.
Yeah.
For those entrepreneurs, and every single entrepreneur has gone through it. We've all been through it. We've talked about it. Those moments of realizing nobody's coming to save you. What's your number one piece of advice to those entrepreneurs watching that are in that moment right now? What's your one big piece of advice you give them?
I don't think losses is real. Like, I mean, this is a person I'm telling you all about. Like, you could take a loss, but like, man, it's only as real as you make it. Like, I don't know if that's profound information, but I'm just like, I wake up every day the same way. And I'm like, I go about and do the same things, and I operate and do everything the same way. But I feel like if you keep the loss, if you keep that L in your head, in your pocket, and it's reminding you, whatever you focus on is going to grow.
Yeah. Where
your mind goes, so too will you follow.
Yeah.
But I just don't even think about it. Like, I just like, you have to understand that like whatever your loss is today, tomorrow it's not going to seem as bad.
Yeah.
Like it won't. Like, I mean, take it all from me today, I'll figure it out tomorrow. Like it's totally fine. But I think, you can't like let a loss influence you. that badly to where you can't come back from it. Because if you're an entrepreneur, you can figure your way out of anything.
Yeah.
You could get your way out of any situation. So I feel like that's that should be a part of like what's in the packet when you decide one day that I'm going to be an entrepreneur. There's no such thing as losses. There's expensive lessons, but there's no losses.
Yeah. You learn and you learn it. You win and you learn.
Oh yeah.
There's no win or lose.
No,
right?
yeah, definitely no losses.
No losses.
Expensive mistakes, but no losses.
Bro, seriously, I appreciate having you on. Like this has been one of my favorite podcasts, and honestly, like the way in which you articulate things, I think a lot of people that normally wouldn't be able to grasp some of these concepts, you speak to them genuinely.
Yeah,
and so
I hope, because man, sometimes I'm sitting here wondering, I'm like, man, I hope somebody gets something from this.
No, and you've dropped a ton of gas, bro. And so today's been a blast. I appreciate you and your time because I know it's valuable, right?
Yeah.
So thanks for being on here. Anything you need, please let me know. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
really, really.
I appreciate you, man. Yeah. You're my retirement plan. Once I get out of my other stuff,
I'm around,
where it's
bro.
all going, man.
I'm around, bro. Appreciate you, dog. Thanks for coming.
Helpers, baby.
Sponsored by Prodo. Flavored protein. Not protein flavored. Discover our 20+ luxury flavors at prodoshop.com.